She knew that Brian was toxic.
Hayden's mother is by far one of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
She was hanging around with the wrong crowd.
It is a very simple fix. Between me and you gotta make one phone call. Is that blackmail right there? Hayden Panettiere's story is getting suspicious by the minute, and I know her rep is saying stop leaning into it, guys.
But we're leaning into it.
Oh, we're definitely leaning into it, okay? Because the stories are changing.
Yes.
Both parties are pointing fingers at each other. And not only that, but like text messages are being unearthed. And that's something I can't stand about Hollywood, especially with like those young celebrities that we grew up with.
Like Amanda Bynes. That girl always gets me.
Lindsay Lohan. Come on now, Brittany Murphy. All these guys. When they're finished with you, they're finished with you. You're done. You're cooked. Something's gonna happen. They can't let you live happily ever after.
Especially if you're a child star, sweetheart.
But anyways, let's get into the first changing story, and it is how Hayden Panettiere was found. See, initially, guys, in our previous video, guys, check it out if you want the background information and the red flags throughout the preliminary investigation. But now, what's being shared by Hayden Panettiere's ex-boyfriend's brother is wild. So, initially, they said somebody who's acquaintance with Hayden Panettiere found her unconscious, and then they contacted 911. When 911 came, they initiated advanced cardiac life supporting measures. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful, and she was pronounced gone on the scene. Now, Zach, Hayden Panettiere's ex-boyfriend's brother, said that he's the one that called 911. And on top of that, he said that his brother, Brian, was sleeping in another room. Okay, those are the two things that stood out at the beginning of the investigation.
How convenient to say that.
Yes. But now Zach is speaking up and he's saying, okay, let me tell you exactly what really happened. See, what he's saying right now, allegedly, is that he woke up on Good Sunday morning so he can go to the church to worship. And when he went there, he was exchanging text messages with Brian. So Brian was allegedly awake at that time, okay?
Well, if you're exchanging text messages, of course.
So Brian is awake.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's in that room. And Hayden Panettiere was found in the living room.
Yeah,
unconscious,
on the couch.
okay?
On the couch,
So when he's exchanging information with Brian, I'm assuming he thinks Hayden Panettiere is still sleeping, or he doesn't know. Fine, cool, allow it. He tells him that, hey, listen, when I'm done worshiping, let's go out for some lunch and let's go do some golf.
Okay.
Right?
So they had a whole day planned. Interesting.
They had a day planned out, okay? Now, after he was done worship, he messaged Brian and then he messaged Hayden Panettiere. Neither of them responded.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
So then after he went to the Airbnb, he managed to get into the building because he has the code. He has the code for the Airbnb.
All right.
And then he went to their apartment and he knocked the door vigorously because nobody was opening.
Yes.
Then that woke up Brian. And then he opened the door to him. And then they both kind of noticed that Hayden Panettiere was unconscious. Then Zach calls 911, and then Brian administers Narcan. That's the drug you use when somebody overdoses to like bring them back.
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry. That whole story has red flags written all over
it. It doesn't make sense.
Okay? Because what Zach is reporting right now is that he's saying that Brian and Hayden Panettiere both fell asleep in the living room on a couch. So he wasn't in a room by himself.
That was the before reports, right?
Initially, Brian was in another room sleeping and Hayden Panettiere was sleeping in the living room.
Now he's saying
Now Zach is saying, both were sleeping in the living room. So you're telling us right now that when you were initially texting him before going to church, Brian was awake, going back and forth with you, and he didn't notice at all that Hayden Panettiere was unconscious struggling or something, or maybe sleeping.
Having a hard time to breathe, probably.
Okay, fine. Then he goes and he worships and he comes back, and then now Brian and Hayden Panettiere, nobody's responding to your text message? Did something happen between you praying and then? What happened?
The thing is, this is all assumptions, right?
Yeah allegedly, but that's what he said. He said that's the events that happened, which is so sus because when you see your partner unconscious, why did you administer Narcan?
No, because they went to her, they tried to wake her up, she's not moving, and that's when they gave her that shot.
So you're telling me she was taking something?
No, they knew she took something. Then afterwards, they realized she was non-responsive. So that's what's happening.
When did she take it? Did she take it the night before, like on a Saturday night?
I don't know.
And then she was out, and then he wakes up and starts texting his brother back and forth, so yeah, we're gonna go have some lunch and all that stuff. And he didn't even check to see if she was alive. And then it's only until his brother knocks the door, he goes, oh, now she's out?
Now, my question is,
I'm sorry.
I wonder.
And all along he was in her presence?
Now, this is my question. I
me
wonder,
see with
because
that.
we already know the two brothers were, texting forth and back, right? I wonder if there was a phone call in between.
I wonder if there's a phone call in between.
Yes.
I wonder if he might have done some extra stops before the church.
Exactly.
Or even did he go to the church at all? You get me?
Yeah.
I would look at banking statements to see if a purchase was made. I'd be looking at phone call records. I'll be looking at video surveillance, everything under the sun at this point because the story doesn't add up. It's
And how
so
was the
odd.
brother? And the thing is, if there's video surveillance around, I would love to see how the brother was acting. You know what I mean? Was he rushing to the place, or he was taking his sweet Jesus time? You know what I mean? So I would like to know.
Now, Brian's attorney spoke out. I think his name is Sloan Ellis. And he said Hayden's demise is still under investigation. So please let that proceed. Now, excuse me. If I was an attorney and I got a client to defend,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be speaking that way. I would say my client is innocent and we're taking this to court all the way to prove
Exactly.
his innocence. But he didn't. He just says that like it's under investigation, let things proceed. Sounds like he's running around collecting information.
Well,
like
probably he knows his client doesn't have a really good alibi. The brother seems a little sketchy. I'm sorry. What's his name? Zach again?
Yeah.
His name is Zach? Yeah, Zach, you need to come clean, sweetheart, because you know what? Your brother could drag you in this. Like, I feel like the guy's a narcissist. You know what I mean? Or a sociopathic guy. Either way,
You want
the
me to add on top
guy
of that?
is going to drag his brother the way he dragged Hayden. So
Let me tell you something. There is some text message being unearthed, guys, and I think it was from 2020. And they're saying it's alleged, but hey, it's very scary and very blackmailish. And it seems to be in relations to Brian and Hayden's toxic relationship, especially in 2019, where he allegedly put his hands on her.
Yes.
And he was arrested for it, but allegedly everything was dropped because Hayden didn't want to testify. And then months later, we have the Wyoming incident on February the 14th. Guys, that's Valentine's Day.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly, he put his hands on her. I think he actually her, black and blued her.
Yes.
And what happened after that? Months later, July 2020, LA prosecutor filed 8 counts against Hickerson, including multiple felony counts of corporal injury, assault with a deadly weapon, battery, and attempt to interfere or intimidate a witness in a proceedings. He pleaded not guilty. But then the following year, in 2021, he pleaded no contest, do what you want to do. And then he caught the 2 felony charges. Guys, we covered it greatly in our previous videos. Have a look at it. And please like and subscribe to our channel because the algorithm seems to not recognize our faces somehow, okay?
So press that
weird.
button.
Yeah. But wow.
You know what? I don't. It's overload. My brain is about to crack. She met this guy in 2018.
And then can we get to the text message because it really shows you who is in control behind the scene, right?
Yes.
This is allegedly from Brian Hickerson. He says, time to go to war, I guess. After Wyoming and LA disappears, so do the videos. Even if I sit in a jail cell for 10 years, all of the stuff that is vaulted overseas with my people will come out the second I step foot into prison. And all that does is hurt your name while simultaneously clearing my name. And at that point, who actually cares? It is very simple. It is a very simple fix between me and you. You got to make one phone call.
Who the hell are you talking to?
Oh my God.
He's a scary man.
Is that blackmail right
That's
there?
100% blackmail.
All the
He
videos?
has something against her. So are you telling me in 2018 when he was like in the courting phase and everything, he was just trying to find something against her so he could use it for blackmail and use it and weaponize it?
Just have her in his orbit consistently, which makes sense. When she was doing the podcast with Jay Shetty, she said he was like a weed. I can't get him off me.
Because this guy's a succubus. He was just lash onto her and he wouldn't shake it down because probably he had no money, no nothing to his name.
Speaking about that, there is allegations he sold her belongings, like he sold her vintage guitar, other stuff of her belongs in some kind of storage unit. I even read somewhere that allegedly she was paying him to be her assistant.
Wow.
So there is a lot of going on, but then again, people are talking about her mom.
Yes. Yes, let's talk about Leslie Vogel because a lot of people are disliking her now, okay? Now, a lot of people didn't know that Leslie was Hayden's manager for a really long time, okay? From the age of 8 months up to when she was 19 years old. Now, how Hayden described her relationship with her mother was strained. It was like literally a manager and client relationship, okay? So she didn't have that motherly love kind of relationship.
Just work.
It was just work. Sometimes she said it was like like she was an assistant sometimes. You know what I mean? It's weird. It was weird. Now, according to Hayden's memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning, at the age of 19, she had a conversation with her mother saying that she didn't want her to be her manager anymore. Okay? Hayden also said that the conversation was really painful, that her mom said to her, "You owe me." Then afterwards she left.
How much?
Hayden did say that, at first I felt relieved because it was a short conversation, but afterwards she's like, is it? Are you going to try to be my mother? Or this relationship is over, you're not my manager, and you don't want to be my mother. So for her, it was really troubling, very confusing, really troubling, and it definitely affected her.
Yeah, because at the age of 19, up until obviously her demise at 36, a lot of things happened. A lot of players got involved with her life, good and bad. But I feel like there's a lot of bad ones.
Absolutely.
Just influencing her. She got engaged to this Vladimir guy.
Who was a boxer.
Yeah,
right?
had a child with him. And then now he has full custody of the child. So you can imagine how that took a hit on her. But on top of that, you told me that there was other people that got involved in her life.
So I would say this. Her mother wasn't in her life that much, right? So she definitely sought a mother figure somewhere else. Now, she befriended a woman named Diana Jenkins. Now, this is all alleged, okay? Now, Diana Jenkins is a wealthy woman. She's from Bosnia. She married a rich investment banker, okay? Wow. Definitely, boost up her career, let's be honest, with being an entrepreneur and all that. But the thing is, this is all alleged, you guys.
Okay.
She was hanging around with the wrong crowd, okay?
Hayden or that woman?
Hayden, okay?
Okay.
Hayden was hanging around with the wrong crowd, honey.
Like all the childhood stars at that time.
Yes. Okay. Now, we're not going to talk about the book yet, okay? Oh. We might make a part 3, you guys. So, talking about Room 23 and Diane Jenkins' book, okay? Coffee book. So, other than that, she was hanging in the wrong crowd. And unfortunately, she was introduced to certain things. Even she met her fiance in that scene. Okay. So, yeah, it's quite complicated.
And then then you got the Brian Hickerson. So you can see a lot went down between her letting go her mom as a manager and now, right? Yeah. Which is very unfortunate. But her mom shared this with Daily Mail exclusive about how she went to LA the year before, so I believe it was 2025, to do some type of intervention. She went to the doctors with her, get acupuncture, massages, all that, because apparently Hayden Panettiere was suffering some kind of nerve issues, okay? Yeah. She was feeling constantly pins and needles. She attributes that to work. Maybe she got that when she was filming something.
Or her recent relationship.
Allegedly. Yeah. But what her mom said that is when she was trying her best to get her better. She said to her that, "Mama, I'm getting back with Brian." And she was like, "I'm done. I'm out. Figure it out." And she left.
She left.
She did the whole,
I don't think it's that simple as how you're saying it. But
oh, excuse me. That I just read it that way.
Okay, so because you have to hear her statement to page 6 after the release of Hayden's memoir. So why a lot of people are disappointed with Leslie Vogel? Well, she made a statement after her daughter's demise, and she said this.
She said, "I think Hayden was an amazingly talented person in so many departments, and I think young people who grew up in the entertainment industry, it is a struggle, and it is a very challenging industry, and it is not unusual for them to sadly find the wrong path. There is a lot of history in the past that Brian has enabled Hayden many times, and this is why her father and I had been concerned for a long time about him. No contact was a choice I made for very specific reasons, and certainly not for lack of care, concern, love. I think it's becoming very difficult to be true to yourself, and I think Hayden sadly lost her way, and I wish it were different. I wish she had stayed true to herself because she had many incredible attributes. I just feel that she's with her brother and they are at peace." It's giving me disconnect.
It is a disconnect, I swear to, and that's why people were so pissed off at her. Even Gayle King chimed in and said, "Thanks, Mom, for nothing." Okay? So a lot of people are not happy how she responded. And I think Gayle King has some insight about how Leslie was to Hayden back in the day, especially in her 20s. Hayden was definitely searching for a woman who was like a mother figure to her, okay? And unfortunately, she was in the wrong crowd. She did some substance. She was in a book that was very questionable. She got with a man who was in those scenes, okay? She became a mother. she was in the right mindset to raise a child, and her mom, I felt like, was not really present there, you know. So did her mom truly abandon her?
If you had a daughter like that, would you be 24/7 around if she's in the wrong crowd?
I would try my best, 100% try my best.
What makes you think
to
she wasn't
reach her.
trying to reach out?
We don't know that, because Hayden in her interview said her relationship was strained with her mother. They didn't have a good relationship. So I don't, and the thing is, I think we will all know if her mother, and we could see it in her eyes, if she actually did the work to help her daughter. Saying that, oh, in the last year, I did my best, but she didn't want it, and that's it. It's not enough
She
for me.
didn't want it. She said, I'm going back to Brian, okay? The one that's wheeling her into this lifestyle. Speaking about that, what did she say about Brian?
Now this is what
Because I like the fact that Leslie's focused on him, okay? She's trying to tell us something, okay? Something within the investigation. I'm more stuck on Brian.
Yeah. So she did an interview with the Daily Mail for an hour. Okay. It was an hour interview. And the part that really made me laugh was she said, Brian is a loser with no money, no career. He's like a modern day gigolo. And he was basically a succubus. He just wanted to, you know, be in her life and take everything from her.
Be in her orbit and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Anyways, listen, guys, it's still an ongoing investigation. This is truly heartbreaking because when you remember a celebrity like Hayden Panettiere, you think nothing but like good moments. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I cannot remember her being a toxic celebrity.
No.
She went through definitely challenges, but I feel like it was sort of private, but now it's being all aired up. And it's very unfortunate that people are looking into it. Yes, dissecting it because people want to get to the truth. And that's the thing that annoys me about Hollywood, right? Yeah. So many things happen behind the scene and they're painting a perfect picture when it's not. We said it before in our previous, we said it now, like, rest in peace, Hayden Panettiere, and we really do hope justice is served.
No, like, he needs to be arrested. Let's just be honest.
And
like,
the
he needs to be
truth
arrested.
comes out.
You guys, at this point, please like and subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
Okay? It helps with the algorithm. Okay? So you get to know our faces.
Yeah.
And
bye
bye
now.
now.